another iron in the fire. So where do we begin? Where do you want to start?
Wherever you'd like to begin.
Well, I know we got the Gateway groundbreaking next week. Tell us a little bit about the Gateway project, because a lot of people aren't familiar with it.
Sure. So the Gateway project is a project that has gone through several versions, iterations, whatnot, and so basically over the course of the past 2 years, the staff, with the support of the council, has put together basically a project that we believe is more financially feasible. We also secured the $15 million state grant for the city, which will invest a lot of infrastructure surrounding the area. So
that was your doing, right? You got that money. I remember the day you announced, you were mentioning it. Hey, we got the money.
Yeah, I think actually we were in here,
Yeah.
and I gave a high five to one of the council members, and it was a good day for El Monte.
Yeah,
so,
Jay Gomez was here.
Yeah, he
that
was here.
me,
He was here. Yeah, it was good, and so we've been just kind of putting everything together since that time. Making sure we go through all the agreements, making sure that we have all the protections for the city, and also the quality of development that we're looking for when we're trying to develop a lot of new projects in the city.
This is amazing. I just can't get over the fact that the staff gets younger and younger. I'm looking, we had Alex on here. She started at 17. You must have started at 12. Because look at this, a young man. Give him a round of applause, man. Well accomplished. Well accomplished.
Thank you.
So I was looking at the picture here, which is, I know, of course, an artist's rendering of it.
Mm-hmm.
This is where is this all going to fit? Everybody was asking about that. Where are you guys going to have
Sure. So if you were to look at it today, basically it's 3 parcels.
Okay.
The picture that's right there is showing the parcel. If you were standing across the street on Santa Anita and you were looking west,
Okay.
and you would basically be looking at kind of the area by the metro parking lot a little bit north.
Okay.
You'd be looking at one of the corners of one of the buildings, and that's basically the first building is called Parcel 4. What that building is it's retail at the ground floor, and then it's housing above it. A very Old Town Pasadena-esque look and feel to it. A lot of restaurants and retail that we don't currently have today. We have a covenant even on there that says that regardless of anybody in the future, they'll always ensure that there will be quality retailers in there.
Beautiful.
Then we have a building behind that, which is just all housing. 5 stories of housing, and then we have another building to the left of that, which is Jamboree Housing, is the developer for that one, and that will be 131 units of low to moderate income housing. It'll be the largest, I believe, family development the city's ever embarked upon for that one building. Typically we build like affordable housing for seniors,
right.
but we haven't done a lot for families, and you'd be surprised how there's a lot of misconceptions about affordable housing. They can go very high in terms of really what people can make. Firefighters, police officers, for example, a lot of those even fit into the category of affordable housing. So we're very excited about the project in terms of it, and we just secured the last $21 million for that last piece, and so that's why we're now kind of just starting to put a bow on everything and do the groundbreaking next week and really start putting shovels in the ground.
That really looks good. I'm looking at the picture. This looks fabulous. Traffic-wise, how's it going to affect the traffic? I'm just curious.
Sure. So we have a traffic study that we did with it,
Mm-hmm.
And an environmental impact report. And so among other things, some of the things that we're looking at as part of the infrastructure from that grant that I was mentioning before,
Right.
we'll be looking to do improvements along Santa Anita Avenue. Some of those will include lights, some of those will include medians, other traffic calming devices, and then we'll also be integrating, we just did a project on the corner of Valley and Santa Anita. You'll see it across from the new Starbucks. And so some of these areas where we're starting to try to do more improvements in terms of infrastructure, they all kind of relate back to the development. And typically any development we have in the city, they have to pay a portion of their development costs
Right.
to provide for infrastructure in the surrounding area. So what's nice about this one is that we have a grant, and we also have those development fees as well.
Private
So
money's coming through, sure.
yeah, there's a lot being poured into that area, and our hope is to expand the downtown, re-envision the downtown. There's an effort we're working on called, we have a current revitalization project. You've probably seen it in the downtown right now. You've seen all the landscaping torn up. We're working with the council to do a downtown revitalization, and bring Valley Mall back to what it was in its heyday, and try to do more landscaping, more improvements,
Yeah,
fix it up, try to rebrand it even back to its name called Main Street.
Oh, beautiful.
Special occasion when we get to inaugurate a new building in our city. And what a beautiful building it is, don't you agree? Absolutely. You know, it's important for many reasons. I'll start off with the built environment. One of the neighbors across the street was telling me, you know, what a nice addition, and some of the other folks were telling me what a nice addition this was to the neighborhood, how it starts to bring up the neighborhood. And you cannot overlook the importance of the built environment. The other day, we were talking about mobile home parks in a meeting at City Hall. And somebody pointed out that some of the mobile home parks started off as temporary housing for a new workforce back in the aerospace era of El Monte. And it was temporary housing, some of these mobile home parks. 60-some years later, they're still in use. So this building here will be around for at least 75 years. You know, who knows? You know, this is a monumental addition to the neighborhood from a built environment point of view. From another point of view, you know, it's senior housing, and how you look at a community, how a community treats its seniors says a lot about that community and the culture of that community. And I got to tell you, I'm very proud to have joined the El Monte team because El Monte has a history of supporting senior housing projects, and this is one in a long string of projects. So I just wanted to say that and welcome all of you to this great event that we have. We have Wes Larmore from Domus Development. He was saying, you know what, you guys do a great welcoming here in El Monte. Most other cities that he's worked in don't close off the street and don't throw such a big party. And that's because we really value development in this city. We value development, and we value everything that it brings to our community long term. So with that, I'd like to introduce my Assistant City Manager, Jesus Gomez, is going to introduce our distinguished guests today. Jesus.
Thank you, Mr. Godinez, and good morning to everyone. Welcome. What I'd like to do is introduce those that have joined us today, starting with our council members, Mayor Pro Tem Bart Patel, Councilman Juventino J. Gomez, Councilwoman Victoria Martinez, City Clerk Jonathan Hawes, City Treasurer Jerry Velasco, and also representing our elected officials, representing the Honorable Grace Napolitano, Congresswoman, 32nd District, Perla Hernandez, representing the Honorable Senator Dr. Ed Hernandez, 24th District, Iso Nakasado, representing the Honorable Edwin Chow, Assemblyman Member, 49th District, Henry Lowe, representing the Honorable Roger Hernandez, Assembly Member, 48th District, and I don't have a name here, but is anyone here from Senator Hernandez's office? Representing the Honorable Gloria Molina, Supervisor, 1st District, Susie Tsai. Representing our city departments, we have our Chief of Police, Steve Schuster. We have our Economic Development Director, Damian Arula. Our Parks and Recreation Community Services Director, Alexandra Lopez. And from the Los Angeles County Fire Department, we have Battalion Chief John O'Brien. From the El Monte South El Monte Chamber of Commerce and Downtown El Monte Business Association, we have our Executive Director, Ken Roush. We also have our city commissioners from the Community Affairs Commission, Yvonne Ching, Carol Lees, and from our Veterans and Homeless Affairs Commission, we have Art Lopez. And we also have with us today our developer, Wes Lamore, Domus Development. The architect for this development, Robert Lindley with YHLA Architects. General Contractor with NP Construction, Bill Miles. And our financial partners with the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development is one, Alliant Capital, and also with us from U.S. Bank is Lisa Gutierrez. From our local HUD office, we have Raymond Brewer, who is a director. We have Wayne Itoga, who is a HUD manager. And we also have another elected official, Chin Ho Lau, council member from the city of St. Gabriel. And again, welcome for joining us here today in this very special event for the city of El Monte. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesus. Now to provide a little bit of a project background, a very brief project background, I'd like to invite our Economic Development Director, Mr. Damien Arula.
Thank you, Raul, and good morning. It's both an honor and a blessing to serve all of you and be here on this great day for the city of El Monte. In terms of a little bit of background on the project, there's some detailed information. If actually you turn over your program, you'll see a little bit of information about the project. I won't necessarily go into some of those details, but I will tell a little bit of a story for the city of El Monte and how we arrived here today with this project. About March 2010, we received a notice from HUD, and they basically indicated to us that we'd have to pay back $1 million back to HUD out of our general fund. Just to give some context for folks what that means, just in running our numbers and employees, that means about 11 police officers. That means jobs for the city. That means coming out of the Great Recession, we would actually have to lose employees for the city of El Monte. So we got on a plane, went to Washington, D.C., and talked with some folks in D.C., some of our congressional leaders. And we eventually came back to HUD LA, talked with Bill Vasquez and some of the HUD LA team who are here today, and we greatly appreciate that. And what we did is said, give us a chance. We know we haven't performed in the past, but give El Monte a chance. We can do this. We can give us a performance-based schedule, and we will meet timelines. And we will save this city, save the money for the city, and actually create a great product in the end. They gave us a chance. And so what you see today is a one-of-a-kind, state-of-the-art craftsman-style building, which serves low to moderate-income seniors, who also can just walk down the street to our senior center, to my left, and receive great services from our Parks and Recreation Department. The message here is that the city took a dilapidated building that was an eyesore in the community and would have potentially cost the city $1 million, and we turned it into what we believe is a beautiful product. Just to give you some idea in terms of the city jobs, as I mentioned, that means a lot of city staff that we would have had to lay off if we had in fact paid that $1 million, and it would have impacted city services and programs quite a bit. It took a team to get here, and I'd like to briefly thank a few important people in making this happen. Min Tai, my right-hand guy, who works tirelessly for this community. He's our Assistant Economic Development Director. He's worked incredibly hard on this project. Aurelie and Griselda, who are at the check-in, and I see Aurelie around here as well, for all your support in all the community meetings, tax credit applications, all the DDAs, everything we had to put together to essentially have this building. The planning team, I see some of our planning team here, for helping carry out our design vision. We had a vision when we looked at this and said, we want this to be a model for the community. We want to do something here that the community's never done before and set an example for other developers. And we really like the vision and the end product that we see here today. I'd also like to thank the City Council and Raul and Jesus for continuing to support the Economic Development Department and seeing how we can grow our community. I'd also like to thank the other departments who helped with this event. It really is a team affair. Captain Dan Bueller, who I see in the back, Chief Steve Schuster and the El Monte Police Department, and the other captains I see here, Michelle States, and the rest of the El Monte Police Department, as well as Michelle Marquez. I don't see Michelle here, I believe, but I certainly know Mike and Rich are here. Mike and Rich, where are you guys? Raise your hands. They're way in the back. Please give them a round of applause. They really helped put this event together and do an excellent job for our community. And then we have the rest of the Public Works crew here. They're our unsung heroes. We also have Parks and Rec. Alex, she's back there next to Steve. Her team, Eddie and the rest of the Parks and Rec team, we really appreciate all your help. They do these final touches, the balloons, all these things that you see around you that really make this special. As our developer was saying, Mr. Wes Larmore, this is a unique touch. That concludes my remarks. And I just like to say, as you can see, with the right team and the right vision, anything is possible in the city of El Monte. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Arruda. Now I'd like to invite our developer, Mr. Wes Larmore, to introduce his team and say a few words to us.
Hello. And Damien's so right to emphasize the team, because what is so cool about development is all the talented people we get to work with all along the way. We at Domus Development are so proud to add our second LEED Platinum building in the city of El Monte. That, along with Garvey, gives us 88 units of affordable and sustainable senior housing in the city of El Monte. But the curious thing about developers is we can't really accomplish much of anything by ourselves. I didn't even write my own speech. So, I'd just like to take a minute to acknowledge some of those here today, without which there would be no Tyler Court. First and most importantly is funding. And the city and the federal government, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, the project would have never started without them, and the vacant buildings that now occupy the before pictures would still be here behind me. So we should all thank the mayor and council members that have been introduced for their role in approving and supporting the project, along with the hard work that Damien Arula, Min Tai, Diane Cotto, and all the others of the city really worked hard to make this project happen. And of course, nothing would have happened without the Department of Housing and Urban Development, represented by William Vasquez and Ray Brewer. So we thank them for their contribution, and as you heard from Damien, their patience with our project. And without this funding that started everything, we could never have hired YHLA's Bob Lindley to create such an incredible design. And I was telling somebody just now, very, very rare is it that the end building actually looks like the rendering. And in this phrase, it'd be hard to tell the difference between the two, so he obviously did a phenomenal job. But as great as Bob is, without Lisa Gutierrez and John Chan at US Bank and our equity partners at Alliant Capital, Bob's design would have stayed on paper, because we would have never gotten off the ground without any money. And even if we had money, but no David Fell and Bill Miles of MP Construction, we'd still be here scratching our heads looking at the plans trying to figure out how to build this lovely building. And even once we're done building it, without Kathy Metcalf and the wonderful staff at Domus Management, we wouldn't know what to do with it. Residents would be running circles around us. And so, all these people are really the ones that go into making this project happen. And the only reason they do it, for us, is because of the reputation that Domus Development is built by co-founders Mia Kang and Monique Hastings, along with Nikki Alvarez, and I think Warren Allen's here. And of course, our wonderful development partners at AHCDC. So, if you all join me in thanking them for delivering this beautiful building for the wonderful house. And I'll turn it back to Raul.
Thank you, Mr. Larmore. Now I'd like to invite members of our City Council to have an opportunity to come over here and speak, and we'll start with our Mayor Pro Tem, Bart Patel.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Raul, for the long-winded introduction. I think, we were here last year, my colleagues and myself, and, we were at the groundbreaking ceremony over here. We had our helmets on, and, that's always like a great moment, but then you think, behind, how long is it really going to take for construction? And I think one of the good things of going through the drought, it's been a boon for the construction industry, because you don't have any down days with rain and cold weather. But we've been watching this project unfold, and they've done a really they really fast-tracked it. A lot of things have to come in place, as Damien said, and Domus, you have to have a lot of hands involved in the accomplishment of a project like this. And we were here last April, at their senior Garvey project, and it was a beautiful project as well. I think it was like last April or something to that effect. So, with that being said, if you heard Raul Godinez's comments when he opened them up, he says he really appreciates a community that appreciates, gives credit and shows honor to the senior citizens. And I think the reason why he said that is because he himself is a senior citizen. He probably wants to move in here sometime, Raul. So I know you have an inside connection to that. I'm not too far behind, and but so I'm going to be following your lead in that regards. But with that being said, it takes so much focus, and a lot of things have to go right for a project of this magnitude from A to Z. But I want to really recognize one individual in particular who was really instrumental on helping shape this project as we see it today. And so initially, you heard about the $1 million because of mismanagement, and the city staff overlooked it. And and staff was going to the HUD's office and to Washington D.C. and over here. They had to take multiple pants because there was so much rubbing on the carpet on their knees because they were just basically praying to HUD, help us out over here. We're going through a tumultuous situation. But originally, this project was sort of in the sense that if you have a size 10 and you're wearing and you're asked to fit into a size 8 shoe, it's very difficult, it's very tight. And that's sort of how the concept was. It was going to be a multi-family housing over here originally. And then it started to come to fruition that it really wasn't a good fit for the area regarding the land space and everything else, the density. It was going to be overly too high of a density requirement. And the reason I want to acknowledge, Miss Yvonne Ching today, who's in the back over there in the checkered and chest sweater back there. I want to say thank you so much, because what she did, and I think it's a testament to how you can influence your local government, is that you have one person who can help galvanize people in that part of the community to bring attention to a project and to put in all the hours and the energy to highlight some of the deficiencies of the project and why it's not a good fit. So Ms. Ching put in a lot of time and energy to show the staff and the council that, hey guys, you know what? This is not the right way to do this project. We got to look at it a different way. And you know what? Nobody wants to change it once you sort of put something in motion, but you know what? To her credit and to staff's credit, you know what? And the developer, they came back and sort of reformulized and see if it worked for them financially, and it did. So if you could just please, help me give Ms. Ching a nice, applause for showing what you can do in your town. That one person can make a difference. And with that being said, thank you so much. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, and thank you, Ms. Ching. I want to underscore that the reason people like Ms. Ching can have an impact is because we have a council that is very interested in this community and what they have to say. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Councilmember Jay Gomez.
When Bart got started, I thought, boy, Jay Leno just went off the air. But that's really great. That's really great. But you know what, Raul, if you move in, I'll move in. I want to thank Domus Development, of course. I can't emphasize enough the caliber of staff we have in the city of El Monte. Damien, Mintai, and so many others. Our city staff are such workhorses. The city's open from Monday to Thursday. And God knows I like to go from Monday to Saturday. But individuals like Damien, Mintai, and a lot of others are here almost every day of the week working. And that's what makes these projects a success. As Bart was saying about a citizen and their commitment, El Monte is about partnerships. It doesn't just take the developer, city staff, it takes the community. And that's honest. It's a partnership. It takes our community, our chambers, our churches, our business, everybody to make this city a success. I'll try to make this as quick as I can, but I just thought of something many years back when I was working for one of the county supervisors, and I'd go to different events. People would ask me, "Where do you live?" "I live in El Monte." "Oh." That was the reaction. "Oh." When they ask me today, "Where do you live?" "I live in El Monte." "Oh man, you guys are really doing a lot of great things." And that's true. This city is a diamond. This city is growing by leaps and bounds. Not only development, but all these projects that we have in store for our community, for us. Because as city council, we also live in this city. We also are the taxpayers, and we also want the best for our community. So it's a blessing. But again, let me go back and say, individuals like MONTE, Damien, these are some of your powerhouses in the city, in these development projects that we have every day. That's continuing. And I hope to see a lot more. And there's a lot more in store, a lot more growth for El Monte, a lot of positive growth. It's a great city. It's a beautiful city. Has the best community anywhere else in the state or in this country, bar none. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Gomez.